All right. Well, we'll go into this quick overview, and then we're open to questions. And so we're gonna get started to walk you through. Should take about 20 minutes and walk you through the program, and then we'll take questions. So you can also write your questions into the chat, and Lindsay and Jovelyn will monitor the chat as well. If there's anything that they can answer, they might just go ahead and answer that right away and or highlight it for me so that I can answer it. So again, my name is Hubert Zaitchik, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Health Wildcatters. Here are my, oopsie daisy. Here are my partners and my colleagues, of course, that you already met. And Clay Hyten, Carl Soderstrom, and J.R. Garcia are my partners at Health Wildcatters. They run a healthcare-focused family office as well. I'm the only one on staff here out of the four of us. We're all angel investors in healthcare. And then, of course, you've met Lindsay and Jovelyn already. Just a quick picture. You can find this on our website as well, but I like to show that early. We've been around the block. There's 109 startups and entrepreneurs from all over the world. We have a Boston, several California, several Tel Aviv, several New York, one Spanish startup. We have a couple of German startups, and we had one out of Georgia. I don't know that Atlanta was it, but I think the main guy was from Atlanta as well. So all of you are in good company, and some of these startups were founded by colleagues in your own respective hometowns. So we have a very international flavor to our program and are used to that. Here, just a quick picture of where we are in that building. We're on the far right corner towards the right on the 13th floor, and that's a new development here in Dallas called Pegasus Park. A new federal agency called ARPA-H just joined our building. There are 3 floors below us in this building. So this building has a lot to do with health innovation, life science investments, and there's a whole business park around it. Brand new, it is the center of life science innovation activities in the Dallas region, which many of you know, or most of you probably know, is the 4th largest metro area in the country with over 8 million people. And then also going to be the 3rd largest in the next 10 years, overtaking Chicago. So you're in a large metro area. Since none of you are from Dallas, just wanted to at least have said that, so you know kind of that you will be, and our accelerator is located in the number 1 area where you will see a lot of the health and life science activities. Here are a few stats on our alumni. 109 that have raised over $250 million. We've got a large network of investors and mentors, over 200 healthcare investors that are also mentors, and a few others that are not investors. We have additional large networks of investors as well that haven't made an investment through us, but these 200 that I'm mentioning actually have invested in one of our funds over the years. We're in our 12th year of doing this. So our countries and states is 10 countries and 39 states represented in our cohorts. The accelerator program lasts about 3 months. You will always be an alum, and you're welcome to stay the rest of the year. It starts in September with us physically. So we focus on the business resources that you need to be successful through our own partners and others. Of course, the mentorship is a big deal, and the workspace that you have here is collaborative. This is just an illustration. This is not even all of our mentors, but this shows you many of the names that you will encounter as you get to know us, including founders of AliveCore or Teladoc or Worlds and many other names that you probably have heard out there. We're supported by sponsors. Those are basically partner organizations that underwrite some of the things we do in the community. Texas Health Resources is probably one of the most relevant for all of you. That's a large hospital, multi-billion-dollar hospital group here in the North Texas region. But also organizations like Idaho Philanthropies, Polsinelli, which is a healthcare law firm, University of Texas at Dallas, which is an emerging university. And we're on the floor actually that blends our very non-academic approach with several universities. So there will be at least 3 and hopefully by tomorrow 4 universities represented on our floor in the setting of commercialization and entrepreneurship. So these are all universities that have big campuses around North Texas that have decided to have an office or several offices here on our 13th floor, which is really the health innovation floor of the Pegasus Park building. We also support, and these sponsors do, a variety of initiatives, including Women in Science and Health, which is an initiative we've launched several years ago, led by Jovelyn and Lindsay now, that is supporting with various educational seminars women in science and health. Our Invest in Digital Health conference that we're organizing together with Med City News right here in Dallas at Pegasus Park. Those are the wrong dates. I gotta get the right dates on the slide for the next show, but it is also in the fall during your program right here at Pegasus Park. Who are going to be your funders? Obviously us through our small venture fund, and we'll go in a little bit more into detail on that. Your funding besides us will come from angel groups and angels, family offices, and probably some grants. This is typically what we see as far as the first round of funders active. VCs are an important part of all this, but they're likely too early to have VC money at this stage. We'll see. There are exceptions, and we have certainly startups that have raised VC capital as well. I think the slide is not in here, but we have something we call the Health Investor Alliance of almost 100 healthcare venture funds and angel groups that we're affiliated with. You will get to know many of them through our program here at Pegasus Park. Our program is offered both in person and in hybrid fashion. So anytime you cannot be on location, you can participate via Zoom. Obviously, I've done that since COVID, where we ran a whole cohort on Zoom, which was also successful. But we still believe it's better if we can at least get you here in person some. A little bit expanding on the various things we do. We have a really fun environment in an office space here that's conducive to collaborations. You'll see a few pictures in a second. Our focus in existence is to help early stage healthcare startups be successful. So whatever business resources we may already have and can plug you into, or others you might need, we make it our task to find those for you, help you in every conceivable way. We understand every single startup is going to have different challenges and different things they have covered and things they don't have covered. So we're here to shine a light on all those and help you as much as possible to see any and all of those things that might be blind spots for you that you didn't even know existed. On the educational side, we will have probably about 100, a little over 100 official programming points during those 3 months. And believe it or not, that's not even all. That's just 10 a week for the 10 weeks core time. There are many more that we arrange one-on-one for you, including introductions to specific mentors that you might have an interest in. Our mentor network is backed by our over 200 investors who are also mentors, including some of the people I've mentioned, the founder of Teladoc or the founders of AliveCore or other organizations that are successful healthcare, that have had successful healthcare exits. most of those people also being investors in our various funds. Here a little bit more detail on this particular program. We're right now in the collection phase of applications with phone and Zoom screens taking place in the June time period, and our quick pitches either June or July. We're still fine-tuning the date. And start the Wednesday after Labor Day. You see a few specific mentions here of dates. First day, September 4th. We have on September 5th, which is a Thursday, we will have our press release out to inform the press on who joined our accelerator this year. Because it's a fairly competitive process, those the ones that make it into the program, that's of interest to the press. So we'll prep you for all that and help you get your elevator pitch down. We'll spend a lot of time front end loaded with mentor matching. And then you see a few events that we already know about that will take place during the program that you're here for, which is Association of American College of Healthcare Executives has an event here on our location. You'll have a chance to pitch them. There'll be about 100, I think, or so people from leadership in hospital groups and medical organizations. Then our own MedCity Invest Digital Health Conference will be right here in our building as well. We'll play a principal role in that. The IC3 conference in our region will be a 2-day conference in Arlington that we'll have tickets for you for. Venture Dallas takes place in October 30th. There'll be many other things that take place here. You'll have a front row seat to. These are just the regional ones. You'll have your own agenda of conferences you might want to attend, and we might have free tickets or reduced ticket prices for many of those because we've been around the block and have relationships with many of these organizations. A little bit on what takes place. We will focus on your helping you with the business model first and foremost at the beginning. This example here is for a digital health startup. We also have a good number of medical device startups and others as well, including some of our most successful ones like Pharma AI company, Lantern Pharma, that went public on NASDAQ, and others. So just that there is a phased process that you will progress through every week, and I think I'll have this slide in a second. Every week you'll go have pitch practice with our mentors. After, of course, pitch day, you'll be spending a lot of time on fundraising and pitching. You'll have a very good pitch that will get you into a lot of good conferences and will be useful in angel groups and venture settings. That's actually the same slide, just a little bit more mixed up eye chart of the startups. We can come back to that later. A little bit on the geography. I've already alluded to it, but you can see most of North America is covered, including Canada. And we don't have a proper startup from Mexico, but we certainly have Mexican founders. And then Europe, Israel, and one startup out of India. So we're not everywhere, but our founders come from many more countries than what you see here, including, of course, also Russia, China, many South American, Asian, and African countries as well. So you should expect even higher amount of diversity in real life. So these are a few pictures, some of which, these are all pictures from our offices, except for the left lower corner. The type of settings we have. Right upper corner, you see an Indian gentleman, Arun Asaitambi. He's the founder of Lantern Pharma. He's an investor here now. He's an alum and also a mentor. So he's taking a meeting there with one of our alums. So we're big on giving back as you are successful and as you can, and also have fun in these social settings. Here are a few more that are offsite, including the State Fair of Texas in the right lower corner. But many of these events are at different places, including left upper at my house, right upper at the brewery that's on campus for us, left lower, our JP Morgan conference that we have every year, We have a reception there every year, and so a lot of alums meet up at that. So we're at a lot of different conferences represented as well. And always happy to meet up and have your colleagues meet up with you. And here's a little bit of fun. Actually, I just got off the phone recording a podcast with Dave Copps, who is in the right up corner there in the foreground. But it's about creating connections between all of you, and then also between our investors and you. A little bit on a week. These are some of the things that are happening during every week. Startup Essential is really about the various aspects of running a startup that I give pitch practice every Wednesday, where mentors and investors are there to give you and critique your pitches and ask you questions and help you get to a better pitch, which you will eventually have a really good 5-minute pitch as a result of all that. The speaker series thereafter brings in top-notch successful entrepreneurs who are willing to sit down just with you and your colleagues here in a private setting and having dinner. So it's really special evenings on Wednesdays. Thursday, we have our expert series and a check-in series, which is bringing in experts in various verticals, as well as having a check-in series, which really goes through who needs what now, or what new resources are maybe needed or wanted. And so we want to be talking about topics that are current as well, and I usually lead that series. You can participate in person and virtually. Obviously, we'll give you a workspace and desks that you can use through the end of the year. You will join all of our sessions via Zoom if you can't be here in person. We do have 3 weeks during which we recommend you are spending time boots on the ground. If that's the absolute minimum you can do, we recommend you spend the whole time here, but we understand you run businesses in other places of the country and you might not be able to participate the whole time. So at the end, in the middle, and at the beginning is when we want you to be here. The beginning is really more like 2 weeks because we have lots of mentor matching as well. Some of the tools we use, you'll get a physical handbook of all the mentors and your peers and just orientation. We have a specific website that only you will have a login for that shows you all the programming, and we use a Slack channel to communicate amongst each other here in the office throughout the process. During the mentorism, the mentors are a backbone of our organization. As I mentioned, almost all investors are also mentors. You will go through something called mentor, I hate to call it speed dating, but basically speed meetings, where you will get to know as many as possible of them in a short period of time, so that they are able to give your overview to somebody else. We engage in several levels of mentor matching, including the first phase, which is random, the second 2 phases, which are either requested by mentors, requested by you, the 4th phase being selected by us, and the 5th phase being kind of a wish list of people you might need that aren't currently mentors. So more often than not, have mentors become mentors as a result of your requests. I'm gonna fast forward on this. These are just some current highlights of various of our startup companies. Carryloop is in the digital health space, just raised 20 million last month. Lantern Pharma went public. The Duolamps just got, well, is about to get their FDA approval for their endoscope device. Ori is successful in reusable catheter technologies. Stingray is a cancer therapeutic that just got $17 million from Seabird Fund. Illuria is an Israeli company with ADHD treatment optimization, and Loop Diagnostic, a Spanish company with septic shock diagnostic, early diagnostic, oral genome out of California, with a oral health screening tool, Sovereignty, out of Texas, with the largest SBIR grant I've ever seen at several $1 million, and Aliform, currently in Holland, but prior in Germany, that has a medical device. Alvis is out of France, OUI India, Sage Spectra is a Texas startup, and another byproduct of your participation here will be an undue amount of press and opportunities, including special perks that we provide as well, that are just by themselves in the tens of thousands of value, including, for instance, a subscription to MedCity News program where you can have access to their channels and be in your own basically PR machine. I'll end with a quick snapshot on the opportunity. If you've applied to our program, I'm gonna get out of this sharing here. If you've applied to our program, then you know that we have a small investment we make in you at the beginning, and that's an equity purchase of equity in your company. And then we have two, and that's $30,000. And depending on the stage of your company, as long as you have raised no more than $1 million, then we purchase an 8% common equity stake in your company. And thereafter, we are, there's two other ways by which we might invest up to $350,000. $100,000 through the fund that makes the initial investment in you, and up to $250,000 from our investors through a convertible note. Both convertible notes actually pre-arranged, not promised at the beginning, so you will know what tools are available to you. And as we have about a year or half a year respectively to make additional investments in you, those are our important potential boosters for your current raise, when you can say that your existing investors are making a second investment. So those are kind of roughly the terms of the investment. The many different things that we do to help you get in front of some of the right audiences and get a chance to pitch in front of investor groups, and so we can talk more about all that. So with that, I'm gonna stop and take any questions. And let's see here. So if you wanna either just drop a question into the chat, or if you wanna just unmute yourself and use the raise your hand tool to let me know that you have a question. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. So we still have almost a half an hour. Let's see if there's any questions. And by the way, if there isn't, that's no drama, no harm done at all. I'm just here to answer questions, and that's the objective of this info session, really.
Hi, Albert. It's Nia again from Dialysis X. I have a few questions, but I'll take one per time. What's the expected weekly commitment for the program? So I understand it's a year long, but it seems like the main program itself is 3 months. And while you were talking, I was listening. I think you said the first 2 weeks are really important to be there in person, and then I think the last 3 weeks or so, also given the
Yeah,
programming.
so it's actually a 10 to 12 week program. It depends on the year and when our pitch day is, but just think of it as 10 weeks or 11 weeks between September through November. You will always be an alum, and through the end of the year, you will have space with us. So if you're interested in it, after that, you can rent it for a nominal amount of money. You can also have a mailbox with us if you're interested in that. So we do that kind of stuff. It's not our main business, but we certainly are in the business of helping you have a business address and a proper mailing address and or place to run your company. So 10 weeks Commitment on time. It's ultimately up to you. You run your business and you know what is important to you, especially during the first 2 weeks of the program, which is the week of Labor Day and the week thereafter. You will want to have time, boots on the ground, to take meetings with our mentors. And I think that's a very important time. And then, of course, around pitch day, because you would want to be here in person. Again, you're welcome to be here all throughout, and a lot of our startups actually are here for a majority of the time. But weekly, if you boil it down to the hours, it would be probably 7-9 hours or so. Of yeah, so I mean, depends how close you shave it to. But I mean, Tuesday's a 1-hour segment. Wednesday's your longest, is the afternoon, 3 to 5, and then our evening speaker is a couple hours. And then Thursday, a couple of 1-hour sessions. Some of them they go over. There's also a chance for a Friday session. We try to compress it into Tuesday through Thursday, if at all possible, to give you the weekend wings to do whatever you need to do. Does that answer your question, Ian?
Yes, it does. It does. And can you talk about the convertible notes? And you said something wasn't promised, but it was pre-arranged. He share a little more about that. And in addition to that, if you're already raising around, the company's already raising around on a safe, how do you, or how have you in the past treated that with your convertible note coming in?
I mean, it's not a conflict to have a convertible notes and safes. It yeah, I mean, it's generally not a problem. Obviously, you can continue to raise with safes as well. Our vehicle, it's what our investors know better, is the convertible notes. So that's really the main reason for that. And yeah, so it's not a generally, it doesn't hurt either of the two sides to have a convertible note and a safe out there, unless I'm missing something. So that's a tool we use for additional investments. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Inka.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. It answered some of the questions I had, but I did have a couple of more questions. So I was gonna ask, like, how early is too early to apply for your accelerator program? So do you work with companies in idea stage, pre-seed stage, and yeah.
Yeah. Probably you want to be able to engage the mentors, and if you're if you're not able to do that yet, or you don't have a team of any kind yet, then you might not that may not be great. I think, as everything in entrepreneurship, you might want to just look into it. Sometimes it's a really great way to get started on something and say, you know what, I might apply to this thing, and I might have to answer some questions before I'm finished with my application. So sometimes it's good to have a little bit of fire under your butt for something like that. And nobody's gonna have all the answers, and we're not investing in companies that have all the answers. If you have all the answers, then probably you're raising venture capital from someone who's got that money. But if you don't, which is really the majority of us and the majority of startups, and you want this kind of a home court, you want to have a chance at asking the questions that you might feel more comfortable asking of an investor. You want to have a chance to get the truth, the real honest opinion from people who already invested in you. Because when we make the decision to invest in you, we're invested in you. I mean, we can say, you'll have pitch practice, and people will say, oh, I don't understand that, or that slide is crap. I mean, again, our investors aren't going to be mean to you, but they will tell you the truth. And it's an environment of constructive criticism where you learn a lot, and it's really incredibly rare that you can get an honest opinion from your own investors and potential follow-on investors in the setting of every Wednesday practicing your pitch, your 5-minute pitch with 5-minute Q&A, and then in a more set time to talk to them. So kind of hard to answer your question, how early is too early. You will need to be ready to start a company in the summer if you don't have that yet. Most companies that make it into the program probably have done that already. So they're incorporated already, so you might not be yet. So there's some technical fouls, right? We cannot invest in an idea. There needs to be a company that we invest in. That said, I mean, there may also be pre-incubation or pre-acceleration programs that maybe you feel more comfortable going through something that's a non-equity solution that can prep you for an accelerator, for instance. So some people take that approach. I don't really have an opinion whether that's good or not. I will say this thing: if you've been through numerous accelerator programs, of course questions start coming up, right? So pre-acceleration is different, but just like if you've been through like several accelerator programs, you start asking yourself, wait, hold on a second, why does this person keep treading water, right? It just doesn't seem like there's progression if you do that. So that's the only thing that I would say you should avoid. And there are sometimes good explanation. Maybe you did a pivot, maybe you moved to another place of the country. There's many reasons. It can maybe sometimes be explained, but once you're at 5, 6 with the same company, like there's a lot of questions that pop up, and it makes it difficult for you to fundraise as well. So everything we do, and you remember, we're making an investment, we're private investors, which is what you want. You want people who put their own hard-earned money into your company and want to help you and want you to be successful. We buy founder shares. We don't buy preferred shares. So we have the same class of shares that you own, which means the only way for us to make money is if you personally make money, right? Your shares are worth something, our shares are worth it. Nobody can get between us. It's the purest form of alignment between an investor and a startup for us to do that. So we on purpose buy what would be considered in investor circles lesser quality shares or less rights, because we want and need to have each other's trust in the process. And you need to believe that there is no other way for us to make money. Like, I mean, we can't do the work for you. We can't just, do all the work for you. But yeah, I mean, if we will want to do whatever we can do to help you be successful, because we're a commercial enterprise investing in super early stage startups. So we want you to be successful. We're not, and it's run by people who are actually putting their own money into you. So not by some, anyway, somebody who was just hired to do it or something. It's so we get to know you quite well. You hopefully get to know us quite well. So it's got to be a fit from that perspective. So not sure. I'm rambling. I'll just shut up. But hopefully that's gives you a bit of an idea. So there's no concrete answer as to what is too early. Just personally, I encourage you to look into, if you feel unsure, then maybe you just want to put your hat in the ring and see. You will need to be able to participate in the fall. It'd be a pity if you can't, and we can't really take you if you can't participate. That's an essential ingredient of our investment, is that you participate in the program, either virtual or in person. But we believe that with our program, your probability of success increases a lot, and that's why we don't want to just give you the money and take the equity and we're fine. No, we're not fine, because we think you really should take this other piece as well that gives you a leg up. You good on that, Yinka, for now?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
You are
And I have
confusing me
one
though.
more
The other Yinka I know is a guy, so
Yeah,
so this is gonna throw me
it's a
off.
unisex.
You got one more quick question? Yeah, sure.
Yes. Do you work, does Wildcatters work a lot with nonprofits? And because I know sometimes for nonprofit companies, there is not a lot of investment per se. They work mostly with grants. And so I was just wondering if you have a lot of nonprofits as part of your portfolio.
Nope, by definition, we don't. So we have to invest, we're private investors investing in startups, and a nonprofit you cannot own. Nonprofits are owned by the public, basically, so there's no ownership. So no, we can't. We do have relationships with nonprofits that help startups or that fund startups or that do grants. So we know a variety of such organizations and work with some of them. And there are, I think one of our startups is a B Corp, which is kind of a public benefit corp. So that's an investable company as well. But yeah, our startups that we invest in have to be for profits now. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Okay, thank
All right.
you.
Yeah, sure. Nick, go ahead.
Oh, hi, Javier. Thank you for the presentation. This is Nate for Coclane again. I have a couple questions. What does it mean to be part of this small meeting today? Is like maybe you thought our companies were important for the accelerator that you have, or it's just a blast email that you send to many companies just to join this meeting?
I mean, we're not a huge shop, but I don't know everything. So we have reached out to some companies specifically, and I'm not the only one participating in this process. So I don't know, Nick, how we came to reach out to you specifically. So pleading the fifth here. I don't know. So sorry, I just don't. We do have certain parameters around startups that catch our eye, and our team and also our expanded team works to help us identify companies that we think might be a good fit. And that's how we reached out to you. So sorry to be yeah, no straight answer from me, but I just don't know specifically.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry, I hope you
that's
don't
good.
feel unspecial now.
Oh, no, I'm fine. I just want to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Good.
I mean, and also, I mean, I've seen over 10,000 startup pitches personally.
Wow.
I mean, it's just a lot. I've been almost 20 years in this, so just over 10,000 easy. I see several thousand a year. So that's pitches, decks, elevator pitches, you name it. So I just see a lot of stuff, and a lot of what we do here is to just share as much as we can of this experience and that of my other founders and mentors with you. By definition, you're doing something fairly new. You haven't done it a bunch. In most cases, you are a first-time entrepreneur, first-time in healthcare entrepreneur, or first-time to the US entrepreneur. Each of those positions put you in a place of vulnerability. That means you may have a great idea, you just don't know everything. You can't. I mean, once again, if you've done it 3 times in healthcare, you're probably fine. You have your network. Even though we even have serial entrepreneurs in healthcare who've joined us, different motivations. But for the most part, you'll fall into one of those 3 buckets. And the job here is to say, we know that the majority of startups fail, the vast majority of startups fail. Let's find startups that are well aligned with us, our values, and fit into what we're interested in investing in. And I think all of you here on this call qualify. And share, bring you into basically this circle and share our network with you, which is rich in all the things you're lacking. Not because we're smarter, not because we haven't done it for a while. That's just been doing this for years and years and years, something you haven't in most cases, at least in one of those 3 categories you haven't. So how could you know? And and I say this, I always say this, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but a lot of little things can kill a startup. And some of those things you might not even be aware of. You just don't know. You just couldn't know. There are various terms that could be in your agreements that could be make you uninvestable. You just don't know it. Could be there's so many little things, and we're here to help you de-risk your business, to make you investable by investors. And we're not the only ones doing this. We're not, nothing we do is not replicable. But I'll say if you do your research on accelerators, early stage healthcare accelerators, you should find us in your top 3 to 5 any given day. I'll go against anyone happily, because what we do is not mass product. We are, when we're getting to know you, we want to get to know you. We want to establish a relationship. We want to help you to the best of our abilities and share all the things we know as quickly as possible with you. And we're not going away. We're invested in you. We, like I said, CareLoop has just raised $20 million. So there are companies, 5 years out, 7 years out, that we're still helping and cheering on, and we can still have relevancy to their companies. I talked to the Lantern CEO by email, text, or on the phone, every other week. So, and that's a publicly traded company. You'd think, how in the world? Well, they're a Dallas-based company, and we're well connected in Dallas, and we can still help. So just think of this as something where you want to look at, like, who could have a real big value add for me? Who is it that, which group could I trust, which has a good, decent track record? And ultimately, we're here to help you de-risk your business. And, that's the only way we get paid. So hopefully we're not doing something that is highly sus that doesn't ever get us paid. So yes, we have success stories, and they pay our investors. And of course, we do a lot in the community. That's what you saw with the sponsor slide. So we do a lot of things that are more non-profit-y, right? So we do these things that are in many cities a nonprofit would do, but we do those as well. So I enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you, Herbert. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Other question? We still have up to 10 minutes. Yeah.
There's a couple of questions in the chat from Nii.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I only see one. Is it 6 and 7 is what I see. Is he still here? Nii, are you still here?
Yeah.
You already answered before, so I just read down the other two I had.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Yeah. What's the coaching like? Investing jointly in the Corona, they're separate investments. So the Health Investor Alliance is separate from our investors. So think of our 200 investors as the people that have written at least one 5-digit check into one of our funds. And why is this important? Because it means go to any angel group and ask them how many angels they have. I'll give you some number. And then ask them how many of those have actually made one investment in healthcare early stage, and you'll be shocked. So most angel groups, and I've run one myself, consist of 2/3 of people write checks to join the group, and that's $1,000. That's the only check they wrote that year. They just like to be involved in this stuff. They're not really making investments. So if you're saying you got some 200 angel investors, that's a big deal. Not just 200 angel investors, 200 verified angel investors that have made at least one 5-digit investment, which 25K is our minimum generally, in one of our funds, meaning they're high risk, early stage healthcare angels, a rare breed. So those are the people who are the section of those people that is invested in Fund 12, which is the fund that will invest in you. Those will have a chance at the $250,000 convertible note to invest in you. It'll be pro rata according to the cap table. And now on to the HIA, which you asked, the Health Investor Alliance, which is almost 100 healthcare venture funds and angel groups. that group, you will see a mentor from each of those groups on our webpage. So you can go to our webpage, look at the logos of the Health Investor Alliance, and then you can look at mentors and you'll see mentors. So, so each of those venture funds actually provided a mentor. For the most part, they will not spend a ton of time with you just shooting the breeze. They will really go after the one startup they have an interest in here, but you will find them to be some of the top venture funds in the country, and we have additional plans to expand that network as well. On the coaching around fundraising, it depends on the startup, right? So we will help you. It is your job. I have raised from over 200 individuals myself. So when I tell you something, you can be pretty confident that I've done my share of raising capital. Over $12 million to date, personally, with checks endorsed that I endorsed. So that means I'll give you as much of that kind of tactical help as I can, depending on what your situation is. And that was yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, that's very helpful. Thank you, Herbert.
Yeah. And it's what it really comes down to. And again, you've got a couple more minutes, raise your hand if you have a question. But yeah, it's I want to get across the point that we're not a mass production shop. There are others who do that. We understand we don't have the most money either. So maybe there's an accelerator that has more money, and if you think that helps. I think you should look at the accelerator program and the alums that went through an accelerator and what they think about the program, what it's worth. It's ultimately the number one thing that matters the most. Are those relationships that will last? Are those people that you want to hang out with? And do you think they can play a role in your future? We're excited about the ones that are already on our journey and excited for you guys to join us should you choose to apply, and we meet in that process. Okay, I don't see any additional questions, so I'll wait a couple moments longer here. And if we don't have any more hands raised, then we'll just scoot off of here. No harm done. We're just under an hour, so thanks for hanging in here and joining us. Hopefully you know how to apply to us. It's all on our webpage as well. If you don't, just go to healthwildcatters.com, and certainly also look forward to seeing you in person on a screening meeting should we choose your startup to pop through there, and then you're in the top 50 of our applicants at that point. So great. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.